Boa noite, senhoras e senhores, messias tribais celestiais.
Good evening, blessed families, leadership. Be very welcome to this new lesson to Heavenly Tribal Messiah. We'll have a nice and very good uh, witnessing and a session of questions and answers and some words from our leadership, your leader, Mr. Kim. So I'm going to pray now. I ask you to follow me. Heavenly parents, true parents from Heavenly parents, thank you for this wonderful opportunity, for this class, and this Friday. We ask you for guide us, and may all of us open our heart and mind to all these words enter in us and really cause a positive effect in our life. So may us be open in our heart and mind so we can prepare to become Chombo families, and so we can complete the 43 blessings. So may all of us make efforts for this event. So we invite you to be with us, guiding us in this class. We thank you for everything and we report this prayer in my name and Central Family. I do. So today we start this class about Heavenly Tribal Messiah as it was asked from Mr. King last week. So we are going to receive sharing a testimony from Blessed Family. They will share about how they have been working with spiritual world and how they are accomplishing their missions, especially about the blessing and spirit liberation. So we are going to receive them with a warm round of applause. Good evening, everyone. My spouse is from Paraná, Umuarama, and I'm from Panama. We are international blessing. So we would like to share how. Can you hear us well? Can you hear me? Okay. So we'd like to tell you how our spiritual world is moving, how they have been moving or moving us to witness, and how we got the money to liberate our ancestors and blessing them. If you can recall that when Mother made a mobilization, in the beginning, at the time our city was small, so we were missionaries. We are only few living in the city. So we were talking with her leadership in Paraná, and they told us we should rent a bus to bring all the members, a small bus to bring the members to meet her mother in that mobilization. But she didn't like it, the idea, because actually they were asking her to get a bigger bus, but She thought it was very expensive, around 1,000 reais. But she had so much faith, and then also the Parana Church helped her with the money, and then she could find a person, the right people to join this event, and then they really could do it. They could get the money. It was in 1 week they could really find the people and could really fill the bus with the people. So many of those members, when the event was coming, they canceled, and then all the people she was invited, they canceled. So she was shocked because the bus was empty then. Those people she was inviting were like pastors from another churches, and she didn't have the money to pay the bus. But they kept the faith, and they were praying, so praying so much, and asking for spiritual world, because that was the time they really needed to the spiritual world to move, to work, because they needed to they actually could pay the bus, but they didn't have the people to bring to meet her mother. So through faith and conditions, they were really asking to spirit world to find the right people, and little by little people start to come. But it was 7 days before meeting her mother, and they were thinking it's a very complicated situation. So after some days, they could get a few more people, but it was not enough. So they start to do a condition of 4 days to really find the people, and then they start to visit every house in the neighborhood. Each house they start to visit, and in a moment they even couldn't walk to ask for help because they were very tired working hard. And even there was a dog. The dog was coming like aggressively to her, and she even couldn't walk from that situation. And then she was desperate, but then little by little she started to feel calm. And then through this hard work, she could find some people, and that time she had to explain to those people who was her mother, what it was that event about. So it was amazing because people little by little was coming, and like those people invited, they start to bring their family, like brothers, sisters, and they start to invite other people. So little by little they start to come, and then in the last day before the event, they had all the people they needed. Like the bus was full, and they were so amazed, and they had to make a waiting list for those people because they couldn't stop coming. They felt like how spirit world was moving and working in that moment, and that situation made them be more strong. And after that, they would like to share another story, another testimony, how spiritual world could help them to gather the money they needed to liberate the ancestors. They really believe in the importance of liberating ancestors, and their goal was to liberate the 4,030 ancestors generations. And they wanted, she's mentioning some word from the parents about the need of liberating and blessing the sisters, for liberating them from the satanic realm. Yeah, so everything they got in their lives was due to spiritual world work. So they would have to work really hard to liberate this 430 generation. So they wrote a letter to thank their ancestors, and also about everything their ancestors did for them, and also for being able to liberate the 430 generations, and all the goals they would like to achieve. For example, she was praying and great and thanking Heavenly Parents for being able to liberate those generations. So she's really grateful. She's repeating, "Thank you very much, Heavenly Parents." With through parents, Heavenly Parents, and spiritual world work, they could gather all the money they needed to liberate the 430 generations. They were really praying. She was giving an example of a prayer about people that may pray for our Heavenly Parents to really liberate their ancestors, like, because they needed so much. But she was not praying really like that. She was saying she's not praying, only asking for that, like, really, God help me. But she was acting.
Is 73 years old. Actually, when we compare the life on this earth, maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 73 years of life on this earth is quite long. But now we are living in a very modernized, kind of advanced, very good and better world than decades ago. In that sense, 73 years or years alive. Somehow, wow, that's not march, but it looks like a little bit shorter than average situation. Also, Korea, a man's average life age is already more than 75 years. That's why many members really feel kind of sorry and the lack of his effort. For a long time, he had been troubled with disease. I remember him that we are working together a long time. Actually, 1994, True Father, chose 12 young leadership, regional director level of leadership. That time was the somehow it's a transiting time of leadership in Korea due to the father's hometown providence. Currently, leadership had been sent to their hometown, and the new young, in their age of 30s, became the top leaders. And then father had chose was 12 top young leaders, and then sent to America. At that time, 12 had been, elected by lottery, but father didn't send them, didn't make a decision to, transit their situation from the regional director to America for 6 months. For 6 months, we had a lot of questions. Why you don't go to America? Father already proclaimed that he gonna send you to America. Why you still here? Something wrong? So many challenges and tests and many things. That's why more than half of 12 leaders has been drop out their decision. Oh, okay, I'm not gonna go America. We're focusing on Korean kind of providence, something like that. So after 6 months, finally, during the whole national leaders meeting and the celebration of HSA UWC inauguration, May 1st, at that time, father suddenly called upon those 12, elected the leaders. But less than half of them just stood up. With my memory, is only 5 had stood up. That's including Dr. Yang and Reverend Huang, and maybe myself, and you may, these 3, and the Reverend Ku, and this anyway. In that sense, father had felt a certain lack of numbers, and then father certainly included major leadership that time. It's mostly 430 blessing couples, such as Reverend Song, the Argentina National Messiah, and the Reverend Moon, Paraguay National Messiah, and then Reverend Hung Tae Kim, Brazil National Messiah. At that time, they were not the National Messiah. And then 1994, altogether, 12 leadership, including those 3, Reverend Song, Reverend Moon, Reverend Hung Tae Kim, including 12, had sent to the America, the UTS, and were studied in UTS, but with the age situation, 3 of these kind of old guys. It's really difficult to study in the UTS, mostly because of language. And the next year, 1995, father had called upon 3 of these leaders out of 12 to South America. At that time, others, South America, centering on Brazil, Providence had been started. So next year, sooner or later, they became the national messiah. From that moment, until, recently, Reverend Kim, Hung Taek Kim, and myself has been, build a very good relationship. And a month ago, he sent me a text that, he had still, completely captured by his mission in Brazil as a national messiah. He's an eternal national messiah. And then he said, Sorocaba, and, Brazil, Providence, and then, Tongil Mudo, many things. And then he said, well, this is the next year. Spring comes, I'm going to visit, Brazil. So I said, okay, whenever you come, I'm ready to welcome you. And then, because of sudden kind of hit of his lung problem, suddenly 2 days ago he passed away. So if you think his situation, right? So how old are you? Maybe you are less than 50 or more than 60s. Well, in that case, so-called Samhwa, death, is not far from us. We must be serious with the spiritual world, which is afterward of this the earthly life. Not only for that, my own life, but also providentially or centering on creation. What is the original relationship between spiritual world and the physical world, centering on God? This is a really important point for us. And then, centering on Reverend Hung Taek Kim's Songhwa. So tomorrow, Sunday morning, we will have a kind of national Songhwa ceremony with true mothers, true mothers, direction, and with true mother calligraphy too. Yeah. So this is very honorable for their children, their families, and the many Korean leaders. Even though those members who don't know him very well, so really put their kind of messages and their feelings and then their sense of losing one big kind of apostles of true parents and this world and this earth, in the social network, many stories come. So in that sense, we are living in the era of Channel. So furthermore, I would like to share with you what is the kind of relationship between two worlds. When I was in the continental directors in Oceania, suddenly True Mother called upon me, and then you have to come to Cheonggyeong. And then I said, yes, Mother. And then next day morning, I was on the airplane from the Sydney to Seoul. And when I went up, Mother said, okay, I ask you to be the sponsor for the UPA, Universal Peace Academy. And I said, yes, that's a unconditional situation. And the mother asked me, are you okay? Can you work for this or not? And I asked her, mother, you are parents, you are true mother. Whatever you are saying to me, for me, it's a real blessing, and it's a most honor. It's my honor. Whether it whether I can accept or not, that's not the problem. Problem is that when you appointed me to certain position, you may have your expectation centering on my responsibility. One thing I am thinking and worrying is whether I can fulfill my responsibility or not, centering on your expectation. That's my major point, and that's my matter. And then I have been working as a UPA principal in about 2 years. And then suddenly Chumada called up on again. And then I never thought that the Chumada going to give me a different in the in the breakfast meeting. Chumada asked me, now I'm going to send you Cheongsim Church, which is a local church of Cheonjeonggung and the Cheonwon area, Cheongpyeong area, local church. And then I'm going to send you there. Your mission is to mobilize true parents in the local community. And then I answered to Mother, thank you so much. This is another honor for me. And to be honest speaking, the field work as a pastor is my gifted area that I had been taking. So, in essence, centering on your direction right now, I will do that. I will do my best until you give me another mission. And then I had worked and then 4.5 years, 4.5 years, and then 2019, it was kind of a regional rally for the hope. And then True Mother came to give a speech that rally, and True Mother listened my report for the 40 days, 40 days Cheongpyeong workshop, because at that time, just that time, True Mother made Cheongsim Church, which was one of local church, the World Mission Headquarters Church, Cheonwon Church. True Mother, upgraded and changed the identity of church from local church to the HQ Church, World HQ Church. And then True Mother chose 2 more leaders and together with me, and the True Mother asked 3 leaders, your couple must go to the Cheongpyeong workshop for 40 days. And then I went there, and at the 5th, that rally of hope had occurred 3 years after 40 days workshop. So this was True Mother asked me, so how was 40 days workshop? Report me. And then at that time, I had workshop together with Shin Chul-lim. Shin Chul-lim joined 40 days workshop there. And then I really got a lot of inspiration and then really, amazing sense of true grandchildren, especially, Shin Chul-lim. And then I had seen, his humble kind of heart and his internal world. That's why, I reported to mothers, my experience with Shin Chul-lim and my sense of, kind of leadership with Shin Chul-lim. And then after the report, True Mother looked at me for a while, and then she asked me, where do you want to go? First time I didn't know what does it mean, but immediately I got to know, True Mother may send me to another mission. And then I said, Mother, as I already told you, no matter where I go, no matter what kind of mission I got it from you. That's my honor. That's my family's honor. Please don't worry. And then, do whatever you want, your wish. And then, okay, the next day, after finishing the rally, next day, Chumata called, regional directors on the breakfast table. And suddenly, Chumata asked me, hey, can you speak Spanish? On the breakfast table. Chumata sat down there and called me and can you speak Spanish? Chumata knows that I'm speaking English, right? And then I replied to mother, because I can speak English if I can, study and put the, my study, and then so sooner or later I may speak Spanish, not very well, but I will try. And if mother didn't say anything, and then true mother changed my mission right after that. And then you are not going to work as a pastors in Turn One Church, and then I'm going to appoint you as a special envoy for the 16 countries of Korean War participation, UN, Korean War participation. I got a completely different mission, which it was no longer connected with the Korean province, right? 16 nations, Korean War. And then after 1 year, right, last year, October, True again, when True reorganized the world, world activities, movement, and then top leadership, True sent me Heavenly South America. Immediately at the time, at that time I realized that why True Mother asked me that I could speak Spanish or not 1 year. In True Mother's mind, already True Mother decided that she's going to send me to the South America. That's why she asked me, can you speak Spanish or not? But because of that leadership, and then still because of in the middle of True Mother's, providence, at that time True Mother was not able to appoint me, only myself. That's why, True Mother just asked me. That means True Mother, in her mind, in her thought, already she showed me and she sent me the signal, but I didn't know, right? So throughout this kind of practice, after that I had calculated, wow, how long I had been working in Korea since I came back from the Oceania, which was the foreign missionary work, right? Which actually from 1994, foreign mission was my major kind of field and my kind of fate, my destiny. That was my thinking. So that's why I never thought that I'm gonna go back to the Korea again. That was my thought. But suddenly True Mother called the phone, and then when True Mother sent me to the mission, overseas mission field again, I had calculated and I had found, oh my God, True Mother had called upon me, and she spiritually as well as physically had taught me, educated me for 7 years. Exactly, I was in 7 years in Korea. And then after finishing the 7 years education, 7 years course of learning, True Mother sent me back to my original mission area, which is, overseas mission field. That's my conclusion. And then I had thought, wow, and then what is the result of True Mother's education? What actually True Mother wanted to educate me? Why I was able to think like that was actually from year 2000, year 1999 to 2008, almost 9.5 years. I was in New York area leader, and New York leader, regional leader, New Jersey regional leader, and a vice president of American Church. That's why almost 10 years. My major mission is to take care of the garden. And through that, the time, I had to learn true parents, especially true fathers life, which has not been written on the book, paper, real spiritual and the real, life of leadership. I had really researched how true father decided something, and then what is a true father's, leadership based on, my sense of analysis. So I have been really at work and then analyzed and then evaluate the true father's life as true parents. And from that moment, for me, the value and the meaning of true parents has been different. That's not the true parents was not the kind of my subject partner of my life. My sense was true parents are God Himself. I hadn't really experienced that one, but for almost 10 years in East Garden, I had been focusing on true father. I had been learning from true father. Maybe true mother thought that's not enough. That's why she called me upon, and she had taught me another 7 years. This time, there was after true father's Sanghwa, right? After foundation day. That's why sometimes true mother called upon my couple, and the true mother, taught us, couple of hours, and then sometimes it's called upon with other leadership, and then throughout many ways. I really thought that's an opportunity for true mother to educate myself. And for 7 years. Now, after that years, now I can fully identify true mother as a God Himself. That's why now true mother said, true heavenly parents, for me, with my spirit, with my heart, with my principle, knowledge, and my providential understanding, nothing make me to accept what true mother is saying. Everything. Why? Already I gotta know who true mother is and what true mother is doing. That's very, very clear. So that was a certain, turning point. In the beginning, I was, one of, Korean leaders who are a little bit suspicious with the true mother's message, right? True mother's message. Many things, but some leaders, those who are against the true mother, had made and developed a lot of stories and a lot of principal issues, a lot of theological kind of matters, and then start to attack the true mother. and then really try to spread out this sense of, this sense of true mother's, identity, which was, simple behavior to spread out all blessed families. That was, until 2015 or 2016. That was Korea was spiritually really, really difficult. And then to mother appointed me early to 2016 to the church leader. And then True Mother gave a clear direction. And one day, True Mother called upon my couple, and also True Mother gave, certain direction to only for my family mission, family mission. So, and then, I got a, mission from True Mother. But that was really impossible. I myself or my wife or as a couple cannot do anything at all. It's completely out of our hands. But True Mother asked for us to, achieve that thing. So I couldn't sleep whole night because I gotta, True Mother's ask, right? Not the direction. True Mother ask, this is not the direction. But if you are my son and daughter, what is the filial piety? Please teach this to your family members. And then, if possible, do this. That was not the direction, actually. True Mother's heart and True Mother's wish. Well, at that time, wow, I couldn't sleep all night. And then early morning, right after, early morning, the 잠깐 walk up, 정심원 at that time. Now, 천심원. 정심원 didn't open. And then after finished the 훈독회, right away, I went to the 정심원. And then I kneeled down and I really prayed to God with tears. I know this is not the direction, but this is true mother's, hope and wish, and then ask to my family. But we cannot catch even one single, hope and the possibility. What should we do, Heavenly Father? It is really painful for myself and my wife not to give back to our hope, filial piety to True Mother. That was honest, feeling. And then I just cried. I couldn't get the answer. And then I came back to the church. And then 1 hour later, True Mother had called upon me. Are you okay? So if you, I know that's not so easy that I ask you, but if you go to the 정심원 and put the 정성 there, you can try. True Mother asked me like that, explain to me. And then I told True Mother, yes, that's right. Last night, I was just so serious. That's why today, early morning, I went to the 정심원. And for an hour, I had to pray. And then I really studied 정성 already, True Mother. And True Mother said, okay, let's do it. And from that moment, every day, if I couldn't go to the 정심원 early morning after 훈독회 because of a lot of activities, at least once a day, I visited the 정심원. And then I just pray. First time, I really wanted to contact with the spiritual world. Because, I knew that realistically, with my will, with my capability, with, my current, ability, it's impossible. That's why I really want to hold the spiritual world. And I want to listen spiritual world voice. I want to listen. I want to see something from spiritual world. But after, a couple of months, nothing happened. One day, I just sat down. And then I didn't pray, but at that time, there was a serious, churchy matters centering on, members' activities for Heavenly Church Messiah. And I suddenly changed it from prayer to the thinking, right? How to develop the strategy and then what kind of plan I have to make. Before I went to the Jungshimon, I had a thought, right? And when I went to when in the Jungshimon, I thought, so far I had thought that, this is kind of, plan or what I am to do. But now I'm coming here for the Jeongseong. So I had to change it. I had to pray to and the spiritual world. And I kneel down and then pray. But suddenly my thought had to change it from prayer to continuation of that, current, mission work. And that time, that day, I had an amazing experience. And when I started the thought, started to thinking how to do, and then I need to do this minute ago. My thought was stopped here. But in the Jungshimon, when I started again, my thought, right? From the beginning, okay, from here, first step here, second step here. And then what's the third step? What's supposed to be the step? And then immediately from my mind, next step coming out. Oh, and then, okay, so far, this third step never, stalled, never got, I never got. Okay, so, this looked like a revelation. Okay, after the third step, what's the fourth step? And then automatically, very naturally, certain thinking just coming out. And then from that time, I didn't recognize how many minutes I had to sit down and then, sitting down and then pray for almost 1 hour. I didn't pray, but I had thinking. Consistent answer coming out in my mind, something going on, something give and take. I was amazing. I was more and more focused. One side I thought, is this a Jeongseong condition? Or just my thought? I was confused, right? Jeongseong is Jeongseong. Thinking is thinking, right? There was my concept at that time. But, another thinking coming out. That time, almost for 1 hour, I was able to create a complete master plan. Can you believe it? In the Jungshimon. That I got enlightenment, what true mother said. True mother said, Jeongseong is to make strategy. Have you heard that? I couldn't understand. What did it mean? Jeongseong is Jeongseong. Why? Why do I put the Jeongseong? Jeongseong is to open the spiritual world and then make spirit coming down, spiritual power coming down. That was a Jeongseong that I had thought. But true mother's Jeongseong. What true mother say Jeongseong? True mother's way of Jeongseong went far beyond of this status. This status means when spiritual world and the physical world is separated, and then from physical world, in order to open the spiritual world, physical world, the central figure, must fulfill the certain effort, certain condition to make this distant shorten, right? And make one. That's Jeongseong. You understand now? So that's why through the Jeongseong, this distance of the two worlds, kind of close. Jeongseong condition make close to its two worlds, and then our Jeongseong reaches this kind of contacting point, and the spiritual world showing up, or something phenomena happen. This is the Jeongseong during the era of restoration. True Mother is not talking about the Jeongseong in the era of restoration. True Mother is speaking and teaching Jeongseong in the era of Cheonilgo. That was my realization. That was my experience in the Jeongsimon. Wow. When I was when I prayed in the church, it didn't happen. But when I prayed, when I thought in the Jeongsimon, it happened. Why? Jeongsimwon is the place where these two worlds become one. Okay? That's why when I go to the Jeongsimon, and my mind and my body become one, centering on Jeongsimwon, which means if I had an issue, really real issue which go beyond of two worlds. In other words, my issue is limited with my physical life or my own life. Still, it's not enough. But my issue include the physical world and the spiritual world together. For example, my issue is the same, not only for myself, not only for my family, but also for my ancestors, but also for God Himself. With this issue, I bring in the Jeongsimon and then pray. Wow, I didn't need to make shorten this distance. You understand? To make a oneness of two worlds is not the Jeongseong. In Jeongsimon, Jeongsimon already become one. That's why Jeongseong in Jeongsimwon was what? Already spiritual world coming to my mind, my spirit. And then my mind said, I want to know this. And in Jeongsimon, spiritual world, physical world become one. And I'm serious. While I'm serious praying in the Jeongsimon, and then already spiritual world become one in my thought. That was my experience. That makes me completely 180-degree change of my understanding. From that moment, I never worried about what I have to do as a church leaders in the church and in the community to restore community. Whatever issue I wanted to make, I just brought that one and I put the memo pad with a ball pen. I brought that one and Jeongsimon sit down. Okay, now let's make a strategy. Let's make a plan. And then really serious start to pray and then going on that issue with a ball pen, write down. Aha, this is operating system between two worlds with a tongue. You believe that? Do you know what I'm saying now? This is the Cheonilgo. So that's why this is a true mother right? Gave four directions, right? Do you know what other four directions? Honilson? Honilson? Please
Yes.
find out the four directions True Mother gave. Do you have?
Circular.
Recently True Mother sent, right?
Então, pode verificar se é a circular?
Na verdade,
You
são
have
as,
to-
são as 4 diretrizes dadas pela verdadeira mãe enviadas. O Samuel tem e ele vai compartilhar. Jinho, pode habilitar o Samuel, por favor?
Habilitei já.
The very first year of this year. So let me see. Yeah. Everything focusing on Chumbo family this year, right? The registration of Chumbo family. This one? No. True Mother's direction. How can I put this one in English? I don't know how to put the on the screen. 진화 혹시 가지고 있나?
여기 이런 것은 지금 없지만 화면 공유
아니 그러면은
아빌리티 하겠습니다. 네.
그럼 내가 지금 그 PDF 파일을 보내줄 테니까 그걸 지금
네.
띄워 올릴 수 있지?
네, 할 수 있습니다.
이거는 보면서 이야기를 해야 돼.
네.
자, 지금 보냈어요. 이거 올려봐.
네, 알겠습니다.
영어 그 맨 마지막 공문 맨 마지막 끝에 4가지가 나온다고.
네.
그 여기 있잖아. True Parents Special Directive for the 9th year of 2019. What is number one? We have 4 special, direction from True Mother in the beginning of this year of 9th of 2019. This is really important, and what it shows what exactly True Mother's leading world people, right? Number one, the second Chumbo restoration ceremony, right? Number two, we have to more focusing on blessing, on blessed, single members. So that's why 43 couples, single blessing candidate are gonna get the blessing. It's gonna be calculated equivalent with the 10, couples of pre-married, blessing. That's the second. Third is Chunshim one special prayer hall ceremony to be with grace. Can you see what does it mean? Number 3, Chunshim one special prayer hall. This is what I'm saying. Chunshim one. Now it's a Chunshim one. Now, true mother want bequeath this 천심 one to the world, our church. I don't know until what level true mother will allow, but true mother decided this year, 9th year of 천일구, okay, now I'm gonna spread out the 천심원 to the world from only 청평. That means, as I experienced, where is the 정치문? Where is the 천심원? Spiritual world and the physical world become one in one point. But how about your home? How about your church prayer room? That's why now in Korea, Korean church is starting to change their prayer room to the same with the 천심원, and they start to call the prayer room as a 천심원 special prayer hall or prayer room. And I'm sure this 천심원 special prayer room must be equipped with all blessed families. That means you, in your family, you make a prayer room, and this prayer room will be accepted as will be changed, transit to the 천심원 special prayer room, which means in your home, at least the prayer room, one place must be the place where spiritual world and physical world together. And once you go in that space, in that room, you pray, and then immediately in your mind, in your thought, spiritual world will be together. That's the, I can say, so-called Garden of Eden. Okay? True Mother this year already started that one. So how can we hold this 천심원, special prayer room as oneness of spiritual world and physical world, the original point? Chumbo family. Which means as long as you are in the process of liberation and the blessing of your ancestor, means still you are indemnify your ancestors' sins, right? That means as long as you are in the process of liberation and the blessing of your ancestors, your providential situation is in the era of restoration in front of spiritual world. So Champo, once you become Champo family, spiritually between two worlds, Champo family can only stay in the place where these two worlds become one. That's the Champo family. So that's why Champo family, in this sense, is only the husband and wife who can work with place where two worlds become one. Only Champo family can go beyond of two world limitation. That's why True Mother emphasized, to make a Champo family from the blessed family is True Mother's gift for true father's whole life of work on this earth. 2 years ago, we have heard, True Mother's letter to father, right? On behalf of commemoration of True Father's seventh Seonghwa. Do you remember? True Mother really wanna put the two gifts for True Father's 7th years of anniversary. One was what? seven nations restoration, national restoration. And the second point is Chunbo family. So that's why all blessed families should become Chunbo family. And what's different from current blessed family and Chunbo family? Once you become Chunbo family, you will be able to live and work in the totally different world, which means even though you are living on this earth, spiritual world with your absolute good spirit can work with you anytime, centering on Chunshim one special prayer room. You understand? This is the current time to us when we talk 천일국. What is 천일국? Is it 천일국 different from current world? What different if it's different? If 천일국 comes, our physical life is going to be dramatically changed? No. Same. Our physical world will not same. But our spiritual circumstances, spiritual situation, so-called spiritual world and the physical world completely become one. You cannot feel these two worlds become one, contact on with a sense of this world. You have to have sense of four-dimensional world of spiritual world. And how is it possible? When you become Chambo family, with that condition, you will be able to be allowed to inherit capability and an ability to feel and to become, to stay together with the spiritual world. This is the different point and different thing in the spiritual world. That's why 천일국 is the world of a different sense of third dimension and fourth dimension. Am I talking spiritual language or physical language, which you can understand? So that's why if we are still in the era of restoration, still we pray, still we put the Gangsan condition until spiritual coming down. And still we are liberated and blessed, our ancestors. Still we kneel down, pray, and still we need to put a certain Gangsan condition. But if you are in the, you transform, you move, you upgrade to this era of 천일국, your way for the 정성 will be different. During the condition, you will really, can work with the spiritual world. And then you will make what you're going to do, what you can do, what is in your life. You can create detailed action steps with the spiritual world. That's what your mother explained. The 정성, she omitted the 정성 in the era of 천일국 is to create strategy. So in that the era of 천일국, because spiritual world and physical world become one, centering on my spirit in the body, that world is no longer need to indemnity condition. That's why immediately my mind can contact with the spiritual world and develop the, actual steps, action steps. Right? That's one. And in the era of 천일국, why we don't need to, put a certain effort to contact the spiritual world. The spiritual world is already there. And then how can we live together with the spiritual world? That's what your mother asked to participate Chengpyeong special great works. We have 4 times a year. That's why in order for you to you become Chombo family, how you will build up the Jeongseong and how you can keep the, your status to become with the spiritual world by participating Chombo special great work 4 times a year, right? That's the communication way with the big spiritual world and myself. And then during the era of indemnity, during our restoration, our way for the Jeongseong is to build up the Jeongseong condition, right? Jeongseong condition and fasting and bowing, so many things. But in the era of Cheonilgo, whatever you have wish, you can put the wish paper. Different. And then in order for you to hold this Chunshim one special prayer room in your home, what you have to do? You have to inherit Hyojeongwon. Hyojeongwon is the house where spiritual world and physical are the only spiritual world of both sides, husband side and a wife side, ancestors coming together to your home. As long as you inherit it and you have settlement ceremony of Hyojeongwon, and then your ancestors don't need to go back to the Jeongsimon Cheongpyeong Workshop Center. As long as you inherit Hyojeongwon, and the morning and evening time, like real family, you are living together with your ancestor, they will not go back. They don't have to go back to the Cheongpyeong or spiritual world. They will stay with you in this world. That's the Garden of Eden in the family. This is what already True Mother made upon. So that's why now the channel is completely beyond of our experience, our sense of spiritual world, and our realization of the spiritual world work. So that's why True Mother has real experience and conviction that as long as spiritual world and physical world become one, in my thought, whatever thinking I have and whatever goal and purpose I made, all spiritual world are gonna work. For us as tribal Messiah, as a Chombo family, our major kind of background army in the spiritual world, who they are? They are our ancestors. But how about the True Mother? True Mother is a direct background army. Who are them? That's a True Father, and that's a Heavenly Parents. That's why True Mother made had the same experience. True Mother are living exactly this kind of situation and world. That's why True Mother asked everybody, all blessed family, should transform your life between two worlds to the one world. Come on. Everybody should come. And the turning point to change this real life, is to become Chombo family. So that's why, because of True Mother's background, the army is much power than us. That's why True Mother can easily realize and then achieve her mindset, which is restoration of nation. So if we become Chombo family, and if we have 430 couples, ancestors, absolute good spirit with two sides, husband and wife side, and then challenge to finish it, not the restoration of nation, but how about the restoration of your community? Is it possible or not possible? For that purpose, please don't think your current understanding and then your limited sense of thought. Please include your ancestors. Make a plan together with your absolute spirit. This is what we have to learn. This is what we have to experience. This is what we have to achieve. And then what's going to be the result of that? That's the miracles. Why I'm always emphasizing, we are already stand on the position to create the miracles from the spiritual world. Hey, Heavenly Tribal Messiahs is Heavenly South America. Do you get the clear this point? Is it possible or not? Where it depends on be successful or not. That's not depends on spiritual. It's not depends on everywhere. It only depends on myself. From now on, we have to challenge ourselves with this point and this point, heart point, from the head to the heart. It's less than 30 centimeters, but this goes far beyond the 3,000 years of providence. Let's become one. Before we try to make a one between two worlds, I have to make a one. Mind and body, my knowledge and my heart. If we are really build up the absolute faith toward this kind of trauma, if we really put the absolute love of this trauma, and they really 100% absolutely obey what trauma is doing, everybody will experience, everybody will see, everybody will know, this is 천일고. I am living in the 천일고. 천일국 citizen or owner of 천일국 are those who are working together with the spiritual world, even those who can manage it, spirit from the spiritual world. Please keep in mind, this is really true mother's gift and grace, blessing for the blessed family. Well, for me, through my experience in the Junction 1, I already got it's a concrete, my experience and my conviction from my experience. This is not a theory for me. So, Heavenly Tribal Messiahs, can you see where you go to? And can you get the hope? So, that's why I'm always emphasizing, what is the most difficult point for you to become temple family? To make a horizontal foundation or vertical foundation for 130. I know most of them, not 100%, but more blessed family feel the difficulty to finish it in vertical for 130, which means the amount of donation. If you really truly believe spiritual world and physical world it now is working with it this way, with us at this time, you will be able to find out how to do it right now or sooner or later. That's why I have a confidence. And that's why still many of members, oh my God, Reverend Kim, you said, I understand, I know, but it doesn't happen to me. Maybe more than half of you may think like this way. Changed your concept and they really challenged to the this era of 천일국. Spiritual world is waiting for you. Your ancestors are waiting for you. Until when? Until they see your absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience. You are able to do that. Your mindset, your will, and your action step shows that point. Spiritual world will make a way. How much serious are you to become Chombo family? If you are really serious for you to become Chombo family more than anything else in your life, in your family, it's a kind of this is the current era. Not two ways. You are not so serious that much, or spiritually and physically had built up the total victory, and then already they bequeathed to us. That's our choice, whether we hold that or we just make those things pass away. So I hope all blessed family can register this year to become Chombo family and really start a new life as the owner of 천일국. Right? Owner of 천일국. Who are owner of 천일국? If you are not perfected yourself, you cannot become owner of 천일국. Right? Right? Those who are perfected, individual perfection, right? Those people can get in the 천일국 and become owner of 천일국. That means once you become Chombo family, you are the owner of 천일국, which means you are already equivalent with, to reach it personal, individual perfection. We are standing on the, really crossing, crossing point. I really want everybody to reach that point, become Chombo family, not losing any single blessed family as a continental director. So I'm praying. I'm really, challenging yourself, even though you feel not so comfortable with my words. I don't care what you're feeling, but I care the result of your life as a blessed family, whether to become Chombo one. So let us work until the last moment and keep the hope and the vision and dream as a perfected individual. And then after that, we will be able to see the hope and the dream to accomplish the family perfection, ideal family. See? No? After you become the Chombo family, and watch it, whether spiritual world work or not, and how spiritual world work to make a harmony and the unity between husband and wife. Because you are already moved in the completely different level, different dimension of the world. So let's work until the last moment and put in the glorious place. Join me prayer. 기도하시겠습니다. 존귀하신 하늘 부모님, 사랑 없는 천지인 참 부모님, 오늘 저희들은 천일국 9년을 살아가고 있습니다. 이미 하늘을 중심 삼고 참 부모님께서 만드신 영계와 육계가 하나 되어지는 에덴 동산과 같은 세계인 천일국에서 저희들은 9년째를 살아가고 있습니다. 천일국의 세계는 영계와 육계가 하나 되어지고 하늘 부모님과 인간이 하나 되어지는 신일체의 사랑을 중심으로 한 신인의 일체의 세계인 것을 저희들은 알고 있습니다. 그러한 세계가 이미 시작이 되었지만 저희들이 영적으로 무지한 관계로, 저희들이 섭리에 무지한 관계로, 저희들이 참 어머님의 뜻과 절대적으로 하나 되지 못한 관계로 저희들은 그러한 세상이 객관적으로 존재하고 저희들 앞에 왔음에도 불구하고 저희들이 그러한 천일국의 주인이요 천일국의 백성이 되지 못하는 안타까운 그러한 사정에 놓여 있는 것을 다시 한번 바라보게 합니다. 저희들을 바라보시는 하늘 부모님 얼마나 안타까우시겠습니까? 그러한 저희를 바라보시는 참어머니 너무도 안타까워서 당신이 직접 보여주시고 직접 섭리를 하나하나 이끄시면서 한 단계 한 단계 저희를 미처 깨닫지도 못하지만 그러나 천일국으로 인도하시는 그러한 섭리를 진행하고 계신 것을 알고 있습니다. 그동안 정말 이 영계 육계가 하나 되어서 일어나는 천일국의 섭리의 모든 내용을 보여주신 참어머님, 오늘부터는 이제 그것을 모든 축복 과정들이 전도 과정이 됨으로 말미암아서 참부모님과 더불어서 참부모님처럼 천일국 주인으로 살아갈 수 있는 그 길을 저희들에게 만들어 주시고자 저희들을 이끌고 계십니다. 아직도 저희들은 알지 못하고 아직도 저희들은 처리되지 못해서 참어머님께서 무엇을 하시고 참부모님께서 바라시고 이루시는 구체적인 내용이 무엇인지를 모르고 있습니다. 그러나 저희들이 영광을 드리고 한국대가 일치되었다는 그러한 원리와 섭리를 중심 삼고 바라보게 될 때 저희들은 오늘 이 시대에 얼마나 중요하고도 어떠한 섭리적인 자리에 와 있는가 하는 것을 느끼게 합니다. 올 전반기를 참으로 저희들이 최선을 다해서 이 신남미 대륙에 있어서의 신종종 메시아들이 반드시 첨보 과정이 되어져서 부모님과 더불어서 영육계가 일치된 천일국에서 주인이요 백성으로 살아갈 수 있는 그 기대에 들어갈 수 있도록 하늘이 역사해 주시고 저희 모든 축복 가정들이 대오각성해서 정말 절대 신앙, 절대 사랑, 절대 복종으로 하나 되어서 길을 걸을 수 있는 이 올해에 저희들의 길이 되어질 수 있도록 허락하여 주시옵소서. 사고하고 결의하고 나가는 그 길 위에 영계가 함께해 주시고 하늘이 직접 주관하여 주시사 이 세상을 이길 수 있고 이 세상에 희망을 줄 수 있는 그러한 축복 가정, 천보 가정이 탄생되어질 수 있는 이 노정으로 함께 주시옵기를 제3, 제사 부탁드리면서 모든 말씀을 축복 중심 가정 김동호 이름으로 보고드리고 축원하여 사옵나이다. 아주.
Muito obrigado. Vamos
나도
dar uma calorosa salva de palmas ao reverendo Ki. Muito obrigado pelas suas palavras. Todos tenham uma boa noite. Possamos nos encontrar na próxima sexta-feira para a nossa Escola do Messias Tribal Celestial. Todos tenham uma boa noite, uma boa semana.
오브리가도. 감사합니다.
Podem abrir os microfones para dar o nosso famoso despedida. Podem abrir os microfones, já está liberado aqueles que...
사랑합니다.
You can open the microphone.
Obrigado, buenas noches. Chao.